Hi, I'm R.LUM.R, and this is Everything Boisterous.
Oh my God, is that snow?
Is that snow?
Is it snow with R.LUM.R?
Blind, I'm not alright right now. I'm having trouble seeing you for what you do. I'm not alright without it. For me believing that you love me too. I'm frustrated over you. Frustrated, I'm a fool. Frustrated over you.
R.LUM.R, this was your first performance in Durham. How did it go? Because you did phenomenal to me.
Thank you. I mean, it felt good. You know what I'm saying? Crowd was there. Crowd was very lit. You know what I'm saying? People knew the songs, which was great.
Were you surprised that they knew your songs?
I mean, it's always surprising because you never go up there expecting them to know the songs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the songs are, stuff is doing well.
Right.
So it's not like no one is knowing. But it's interesting to think that there's just concentrated pockets of people.
Right.
Like a concentrated pocket of like 200 people or something like that who just, we all learned the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's interesting. I don't know. It's cool. It's a great experience too when they sing it back to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So before you got up, they kind of gave us like a little bio, about how many, plays that,
It's like way off.
which was way off. No offense, but it was way off. But what they did have a fact about was Frustrated, and a lot of your other songs have, millions of plays. Let's just be honest, and it's well deserved. How did so Frustrated, like, how did that song even come about? Did you write it first, or did you just like freestyle it? Because that's all I hear like on the stations is Frustrated. I hear it a lot.
Oh, word.
Yeah, word.
Great. I wrote it back in Orlando. This was about the time when I was kind of making the decision to move away from Orlando. And I just started on acoustic. It just started with me and my guitar. It was just a couple months where my lease was ending, and I was kind of going through this, like, where do I go? What do I do from here? Do I stay in Orlando where I'm sort of comfortable, or do I kind of take the plunge and go somewhere else, move away from the state I was born in, and roll the dice and try something new? So it was kind of just about that push and pull. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I know? You know what I'm saying?
How did you know you were gonna take music seriously? Because it's like, a lot of SoundCloud. There's a hella SoundCloud artists clearly, from rapping to singing. That's how you get put on. Yeah. But when did this?
Rapping to singing.
It'd be like that.
I went straight to singing.
You might have to dabble in a couple, verses.
I might spit a little bit, straight to the cipher, and do nothing.
When did you realize, like, damn, like, this might be a career move for me? Or was it kind of just like an overnight kind of thing?
Definitely not overnight. No. Jeez, a lot of work into this, but it's still pretty wild to believe that I just get to do this. This is all I do.
Right.
Play shows and write and try to connect. I try to meet people and meet wonderful people like you guys, and just tour around the country and sometimes the world. So when did I know? I just don't think I would have done anything else, really. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, there was a lot of work put in this, and a lot of acoustic stuff that I did before, and I was touring doing that, doing just fine, making a good living, doing just fine. You know what I'm saying? So I would have, I was happy then. You know what I'm saying? This is just like extra. That people seem to really have to have connected to that one song particularly, and to be honest, and to show, and to tell me, and all the other things. So, there was no one defining moment that I was like, oh, cool, you pay my bills with this.
Right.
But I do remember this year I hit a milestone. You hear that? I hit a milestone.
Yes.
This year was the first time in my life I was ever over the poverty line. So
shout outs to being over the poverty line.
Shout outs to being low middle class.
That's where it's at.
Very low middle class.
That's where you really push anything to make it happen.
Like very low middle class.
Because you have a choice.
Yeah.
So on stage, I seen you, play instruments, singing. It was fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. How would you describe?
Yes, Swiss Army knife.
How would you describe like your genre? Because I heard funky, I heard a little bit of R&B.
Yeah.
Everything was melodic, all throughout. But how would you describe your music as?
Well, Well, it's definitely heavily R&B influenced. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's just a lot of stuff. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of soul and R&B and jazz and gospel and all that stuff. But when I got my hands on my own music taste, you know what I'm saying, I listened to a lot of progressive stuff, and a lot of like bands, a lot of rock bands and stuff like that. And I came from Sarasota, which is the scene of like it's just like Warped Tour, like Christian hardcore, and all that kind of stuff, like Under Oath and Project Burden of a Day and Reliant K and Pierce the Veil and like all those guys, you know, all those bands that are verb the noun.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like blank the blank, pierce the veil, escape the fate, against the whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I just say it's alternative. I just call it alternative R&B. You know, so it's not deep, but you know, there's a lot of guitar in some of the songs, a lot of vocal manipulation in some of the other songs, a lot of looping and stuff.
So before you actually got into, you know, making R&B influenced music, who would you say in R&B, whether it's this generation or 90s R&B, who would you say that you pulled influences from, aside from like the bands?
I listen to a lot of George Benson in my house.
Okay.
A lot of Anita Baker. My mother always had the Anita Baker popping.
Yes. Caught Up in the Rapture.
Caught up in the rapture of love. Nothing else that like the sun comes out. She had that big thick vibrato. It's beautiful. And yeah, Anita Baker was a big deal. Sade was a big deal for sure. I listened to a lot of Erykah Badu. I can remember Zedium would be playing, and she'd have like the sandalwood incense on, and I knew it was like Sunday and we had to clean.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there was all that stuff from R&B. But then, you know, I remember listening to a lot of Aaliyah because my sister loved Aaliyah. R&B, Life Cut Way Too Short. Early Usher was a big deal for me. And then like I really liked Neo. I still think was that their So Sick song,
yeah.
So Why Can't I Turn Off the Radio? That's one of the best written songs I think ever. It's still one of my favorite lyrics. Got to change my answering machine now that I'm alone, because right now it says that you can't come to the phone. And that's so heart-wrenching. It's beautiful.
It is.
So yeah.
What's more therapeutic for you? Is it writing the actual music or singing the actual music?
It's two different. I think it's two different types of approaches. I don't know, like the energy you get from the crowd, you get from people when you can like riff on them. You can tell they're enjoying the thing, or somebody says something, and I hear like we go back and forth, and we're just building this kind of echo chamber of like we're in this immediate moment. You know what I'm saying? Is its own sort of flow state. You kind of get lost in the moment, which is great. You forget about things and just like, oh, nothing matters but what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? But there is the focus and the kind of stepwise motion of arranging a lyric, moving a pronoun, doing something, you know, being really intentional with that stuff. So one is meditative in a very slow, deliberate way, and one is meditative and I like you forget yourself. It's sort of an escape kind of way. So it's honestly like, though they're both meditative, it's like apples and oranges to me. In my experience.
When you're on stage, you know, giving the false bio, explain exactly like where you are from. I think they got it a little mixed up.
I was born in Bradenton, Florida.
Okay.
And people think I was born in Orlando. I don't know. Maybe that's just because that's a major city. People know it.
Yeah.
Bradenton's definitely not. But I was born in Bradenton, Florida, and then I was living in Orlando, moved from Orlando to Nashville.
Okay.
A year and a half ago-ish.
So how are you like in Nashville? Is there a scene difference you can tell?
Totally. Because, you know, it's a big home of country and like Christian music. But I moved there because upon doing my research on that city, like I felt like there was nobody there doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like instead of going to Atlanta or in LA or New York or whatever, I could go there and really try to make my own thing. You know what I'm saying? It was a dice roll because for the first 6 months was not good. But got our first show April 18th, I think, of last year at the Shallow High Walk, and it's just kind of picked up from there. People saw, oh, this is a thing. So it just kept moving.
So being in alternative R&B, you know, you have a lot of artists out there from like people that go to OVO to like Daniel Caesar, you know, just like a lot of underground. You like Daniel Caesar? He's dope. Who would you like to collab with?
I love Sampha.
Oh yes. Did you like the process?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Took the brake pads off the car.
Hey.
He just got such a beautiful way of expressing anxiety and like his sort of isolated mind state through lyrics and through the sonic qualities of stuff. Like what is it? Smartest mother blood on me. And those two. It's just like this ticking, moving, anxious thing.
Yeah.
And it's just those little details really make the environment to house the lyric. So Sampha does a great job with that. Neo, who's playing inside, I love to work with her. This producer out of London named Grades, who's amazing, who I'd love to work with. This guy Stint, who I actually did get to work with, Dreams Come True. I don't know, it's crazy because like people whose work I love are like starting to reach out and be like, oh, this is awesome. This man from Nashville Base Camp, they're fans, which is wow. Just this girl Flurry from Nashville fans, this girl Reddy fans as well. You know, and I looked at their music, it's like, oh, if that's happening there, I can go to Nashville. You know, so it's wild that the community is there. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
there's a lot of folks out there.
What would you say, like, how accurate are your songs Frustrated and Loveless to your actual life?
I think it's easy to assume that things are automatically autobiographical. But, sometimes it's fiction, sometimes it's definitely not fiction. But those two songs particularly, there's definitely elements of myself in every song. I couldn't deliver a convincing thing, you know, if there wasn't. I wasn't like really giving a thing of myself. But I can give you like a percentage, you know. But I mean, there's definitely elements of it.
So what's next for R.LUM.R?
I'm gonna take May and June and kind of do my own thing, but late June we're doing some more festivals in Utah and I think Oregon, I think Portland. We're going to San Francisco, hopping around the U.S. doing the West Coast thing, and we're going international for a little bit in early August, I think. So we're gonna be all over. Just check the website, all the dates are there.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Thank you so much for doing this. Awesome performance. We're about to go catch a nail, so about to get out.